Hello, everybody, and welcome to just a video where I'm going to talk about stuff. Rapid launch pivot. Oh. Well, we'll give it a shot. Why not? Actually, no. I want to do... Oh, no, I don't want to do that either, actually. We'll do Haven and Signal 24/7. Just buzz. This would be a very weird video, because we're talking about a couple of different things. Or at least I'm going to try to cover a couple different things. First thing I'm going to cover, mainly, is going to be related to zombies. And I know I'm playing multiplayer for this, but it's like, I've been playing a lot of zombies. I want to take a little bit of a break. I've hit level 500. I basically just am going to be trying to finish up the last challenge in this. And it's calling UAV, earn 50,000 score. I technically have it a lot easier done in zombies, but I was just going to try and get this challenge done sooner rather than later. Swift streaks. Take this off, put you on. Yeah, so that should be good. Ooh, we finally got Haven. I haven't played on Haven yet, so it's actually good. But just kind of want to talk about a couple different things. First of all, just kind of how I'm feeling with zombies right now in Black Ops 6, because I'd say it's been decently long. Let's see, how long has it been since it's been, what, October 25th? Let's see. I actually should probably spawn in before the game kicks me. October 25th. Then how...
We're winning. Keep it that way.
I'll quickly look this up. Oh, I'm on Redacted HUD because of the last time I played multiplayer, I was getting a thumbnail. Or no. Just standard removed my HUD for some reason. Thanks, COD, for still having broken issues like that.
Sniper threat eliminated. Sighted flashbang.
Okay, now it's working.
I was too kind last time. Hostile incendiary. Eyes on enemy.
But generally it's going to be just kind of talking about my overall kind of feelings about Black Ops 6 zombies as a whole right now, as we are...
Identified enemy mine.
Let's see how many days. 25... 204 days, which... roughly 6 months, if my memory serves me right.
Five kills. Task counter UAV above. TACOM.
Bunker above.
Requesting
Track
recon overhead.
UAV in the turn. We have eyes on.
Let's see.
Cloaker reporting power reserves 50%. UAV fuel check 50%.
Where the hell does this guy go? Oh, he ran.
Mission timeline expired. Cloaker exiting AOR. Mission timeline expired. UAV RTB.
Damn.
Tactical incoming! I will be talking about this on my podcast.
Yeah, so a little over 6.5 months. Yeah, so 6.5 months, 6.7 months exactly. So we're over 6 months into Black Ops 6's life cycle. We're about to hit Season 4 in a couple of weeks. We've already had a couple teasers for the next content drop for zombies, whether it's a new zombies map, whether it's a new mode type thing, or what. We obviously aren't 100% sure, but regardless, the new stuff's being teased already. But that being said, I am excited. I am cautiously optimistic about what's coming next. Because the only teaser right now we have is an image of Janus, the Project Janus icon, and Richtofen, and an image of the Synaptic Algorithm module SAM thing in like a Maxis type logo. So it's very much a Richtofen versus Maxis type story happening here at the very end of the life cycle, whether or not we're getting another map or a new mode that's like grief-like, or we're getting a new map that will have 2 Easter eggs, or maybe we're getting something different. Who knows? We don't know yet.
Enemy 12 o'clock.
Bro, you need to stop jumping, first of all. Regardless, it's got a lot happening. So I want to talk about kind of how I'm feeling about Black Ops 6 Zombies 6 months in, and generally my thoughts on the game as a whole. I am very much of the belief that I think
Yes, that's
Black Ops 6 is probably a very complete and polished experience, and I think given all of the drama and issues aside, I think it is still a very solid and fun experience that I think is worth playing, if only for the sake of the Easter eggs being very fun.
Try talking it out. Instead of the whole fight operator establishing source street.
However, there is the obvious stuff like how are the Easter eggs, how are the overall map experience, how's the like everything else like related to the story. I'm not a story YouTuber, I'm not a super in-depth guides YouTuber, so I can't really definitively say either or. However, from a average player standpoint, because I'd say I'm very average, I'm not that good at the game, I haven't gotten to round 100 ever. Like, realistically, I've never done it. I think the experience, Easter egg experience and everything is very fun and very solid. I think it definitely has issues. I think there's definitely problems. However, I still find the experience to be playable, you know? It's very fun, and I don't feel like I'm wasting my time doing it. I feel like there's a lot of untapped potential, if you will. I think there's a lot of game in this game, and I definitely think that there's going to be a lot of things that will stick with a lot of players throughout the lifespan of this game and everything like that. And I'm excited to see where it goes from that standpoint. That being said, I have to talk about a couple different things, and I kind of want to just generally rank the maps, including their Easter eggs, now that at least the main 5, as of right now, it is season 3. It is specifically May 17th, 2025. So the main thing I'm going to be talking about is going to be the Liberty Falls, Terminus, Citadel des Morts, the Tomb, and Shattered Veil. I cannot remember the name of it for some reason. I don't know why. But we're going to start with Liberty Falls and move our way up. So it's going to be kind of keep it trying a little brief, so no promises of making it cohesive, but I'm going to keep them brief. Liberty Falls, I think, is a very great intro map, a very good map to kind of get somebody who's never played zombies before or who's only played classic zombies started in the new system and how everything works. It is a very simplistic Easter egg. It's not impossibly difficult. I do think it is a little difficult if you don't know what you're doing. as well as there is quite a bit of setup involved. However, I still think it is a decently fun beginner-level Easter egg that I think, if you're trying to get someone to learn the Easter eggs, is the easiest one to teach, is the easiest one to do. Now, the major complaints is I do find the Easter egg to be a little bit too short. As well as will say I was hoping for a more traditional boss fight that we see in other maps. However, again, considering the fact that it's meant to be a pseudo-beginner style map, it's fine. But I definitely do wish that there was like a secondary way if you could doing the boss fight that's a little bit harder, or something that makes it more difficult. Now, we move on to Terminus. Let's start with mostly the good. Or, no, let's start with the bad. The overall Easter egg itself is not easy. I definitely think if you don't know what you're doing, it is a very difficult Easter egg, and I think there's a lot of things that can go wrong, a lot of things that can happen that can ruin your run. There's a lot of different things inside of Terminus that can really screw you up, whether it's the bomb step, Patient 13, whether it's anything involved with the setting up of the Beam Smasher. Couldn't remember the name of the Wonder Weapon for a second. But there's so many things that can go wrong that can spiral out of control, but not necessarily that will ruin the run. It definitely can be a thing where if you don't try and recover from it, it will ruin your experience. Now, we move on to the important thing. That being the good of Terminus. I think the overall Easter egg quality, in terms of how the steps are kind of laid out, the sort of order to everything, the general pacing, the difficulty, I find it very reasonable. It's kind of scales up as you go. I notice this a lot with a lot of the Easter eggs of BO6 is it starts off easy, starts getting a little bit harder, and then the boss fight's usually a very good test of everything you've kind of have to know about the game. But there is still a lot of things to say about Terminus. That being, Patient 13 is a test of patience, but also knowing, like, just generally being good at the game. There is a lot of skill involved, but it's also a very, very strong test of patience. Because trying to rush in and get it done quickly is how you die. Trying to take it too slowly might get you killed. And going in underprepared is certainly going to not net you the result you want. However, that's not to say it's bad. I definitely think it is probably my favorite Easter egg out of the main base game maps, and I'm excited to kind of see how Treyarch can kind of top that in terms of base map, launch map quality in the future. But I digress. We're on to the first ever added DLC / new map that was added in post-launch. I guess is a better way of saying it now. Citadel de Mor. The good about the Easter egg is that it is very simplistic and not too overly complicated. However, even with the complications and ways of being able to skip the complicated parts if you know what you're doing, I think it's very fun and adds to the enjoyment of the map. And I do think the water weapons are very fun because the swords are very interesting and different, given the fact that we have dedicated melee weapons and everything. As well as I think the boss fight is a very, very good test of more kind of knowing your augment setup and stuff like that. Now for the bad. There's one really big glaring thing about Citadel de Mor that's really the kind of thing that prevents me from putting it at like the top of my list of Easter eggs for Black Ops 6 specifically. And that is the fact that by getting the wonder weapons, you basically put yourself in a situation of, I might as well do the Easter egg while I'm here. Similar to Origins, the Rise and Drak, and other maps that have wonder weapons that are integral to the boss fight. So mainly, like, basically most of BO3, with the exception of, honestly, Garrod Krovi. and maybe Rev in a way. Like, unless you get the Apothecary. Like, well, actually, Rev as well is a good one. But Gorakro is the only real one in Black Ops 3 that doesn't have this semi-forced into the Easter egg type thing that I've always kind of described. I'm glad that so far they haven't done that. And that's my only real problem with Citadel, is just that it does feel you feel kind of shoehorned into the Easter egg by doing the swords. But it could be much, much worse. Now we move on to the controversial one, the Tomb. A lot of people do not like the Tomb. I think the Tomb is fine. I think as a camo grinder map, it is amazing if you're trying to get the Opal camo done. Because,
They won't be coming back from that.
generally speaking, the special nerf that they did during the launch section of everything was not great for camos, but it's fine otherwise. I think other than that, it's fine. I definitely think it could be worse, considering that. But the Tomb definitely adds a lot more specials with the Mimic and the Doppelgast, making it easier to effectively deal with that whole special camo grind that typically happens when you're working on that Opal camo for your new weapons. Easter egg wise, I think the Easter egg is all over the place. Because, number one, I like to think of an Easter egg as like a slope, where you kind of are climbing up this hill, and the peak of that hill is the boss fight, and that's like where the most difficulty is. For example, an Easter egg that has the inverse of that, where it's very hard and gets easy, is something like Revelations, where a lot of the setup for Revelations is kind of sort of tedious, not necessarily difficult, just annoyingly tedious. And then the boss fight is just the Shadows of Evil boss fight. Again. If you know what I mean. Now the Tomb has, instead of it being a upward slope or a downward slope, it is a upward, downward, upward, and then we're done. So it's like almost like a W, or like a half of a W, because the ice staff building process is not impossibly hard. It is just very difficult if you aren't expecting how much is going to be coming at you. If you are underprepared, it is a slug of a process. And then even so, when you get to the upgrade step for it, is even, not necessarily worse, but is just as bad. Now, the one good thing about the Tomb is that once you get the Ice Staff, the 4 effective steps you have to do for the effective rituals to get the Sentinel Artifact aren't that hard. I'd say they're pretty reasonable. They can be kind of difficult if you don't know what you're doing. Once you figure it out, it's pretty easy. And then you get to what is, in my opinion, one of the hardest boss fights in all of Black Ops 6. Maybe in all of Zombies, but I mean, if we're considering IW, definitely not. But in terms of all of Treyarch, definitely, probably one of the hardest. This might be just me more or less having my I'm not that good at the game type mentality, but because I haven't done a solo, I have not been an Easter egg solo that isn't like one of the easier ones, like an actual proper boss fight Easter egg since Alpha Omega, I think. Which isn't bad, but it's very much one of those things where it's like, oh, well, that's not great. Now, it brings me to the good things about the Easter egg. It is definitely a test of everything you would have learned at that point in the game's life cycle. Because a lot of things have changed, weapons have been buffed, weapons have been nerfed, weapons have been, like, you have new weapons to consider, you have all these different things. And especially now with Zombie Snacks, if you didn't obviously see the boss fights on those, Zombie Snacks, if you're doing, if you have that mode ever comes back in any way, or just in general, the Maelstrom is very, very powerful. And one of the strongest weapons ever since they did a single buff to it, and it is insane how strong that thing is now. And it's just goes to show that all it takes is one really good buff, and a weapon can become very, very good. Now I move on to the final map. As of now, in Black Ops 6, that being Shattered Veil. First thing I want to say about Shattered Veil, I think the Easter egg is very well paced. I think it's well balanced. I don't think it's too difficult. I don't think it's too annoyingly hard. I think where it is difficult makes sense, and where it doesn't or isn't super difficult, it's not dumb easy. It's not like, yes, I'm going to fall asleep playing this Easter egg. It's not like that. It's more, I have to be paying attention, but it's not, I have to be locked the fuck in the entire time like the Tomb. But I definitely think it is very close to having that similar problem that I mentioned with Citadel, that kind of shoehorns you into the Easter egg. However, if you're going for high rounds, the one benefit of doing the Easter egg partially is the Wonder Waff, unless you get really lucky with the box, which is sometimes really fun. Now, that being said, everything regarding Citadel is null and void when you consider the fact that the Easter eggs boss fight is one of my favorites of all time, because the fact that you fight a freaking zombie dinosaur. Like, are you kidding me? That's the coolest thing ever. Whether or not you love zombies or hate zombies in Black Ops 6, that boss fight is really, really cool and really, really fun. And I genuinely think it is probably the most actual high-skill boss fight in the game, if only because it is just more of a test of how good are you running zombies around in circles. Because that really is a lot of it. Now, the big thing I want to say is, right now, obviously this is before any new maps come out, I'll probably do a more follow-up video come next year's COD release, if I'm playing it, regarding how I feel about all of the maps overall that we've had and all the experiences, and just kind of a 1 year later type video. We'll have to make a video like that when that is able to be done. At least about zombies, because multiplayer, I don't play that much. I have, I think, literally less than a week played on this in this multiplayer, I think. Like, I have so few guns gold, I've been basically dedicating my time almost solely to zombies. Idiot. I hate campers, man. I hate campers so goddamn much. Like, how are you playing on one of the smallest maps of the game and you're sitting in the back camping? Like, how can you do that? Ah, well, that's good. I mean, hey, they got the grenade. Alright. Basically, I want to end off my thoughts by kind of just ranking them on a scale of 1 to 10, each map considering the Easter eggs. Not like tier list ranking, but like just a scale of 1 to 10. Liberty Falls, I would definitely say is a solid, like, 6.5 out of 10. Like, 7 at best. The reason why it's that low compared that you will see is because of just, I got burned out on hearing Blanchard talk every 10-15 seconds. Which is why I'm kind of hoping that we get some more unique dialogue from him in the next major map. Next is Terminus. I would definitely say it is a solid 8. Very solid 8. Like, safe 8, maybe a 9. Considering, like, it's the first major Easter egg in a long time. I would say Citadel, even with my grievances aside about that Easter egg, the way the Easter egg is handled, I definitely gotta say it is a solid 8. I would say if Terminus is an 8, I actually would say, yeah, I would say Citadel's probably an 8 as well. Good, but not perfect. I think it has a lot of issues. The Tomb, I definitely would think would be a 7 as well, kind of similar to Liberty Falls. I'd say probably Liberty Falls maybe a 6, where it's, again, more or less a lot of it is from the, more or less the issues that I have with just a Blanchard being burning me out on that. That's why I kind of sometimes play without voice audio. And then, I'd probably say that the, next best thing I would say would be, sorry, that victory emote thing caught me off guard. Shattered Veil, I would say it's a very easy 9. Very, very easy 9. What Easter egg would I describe as a 10? Voyage of Despair. And Ancient Evil. And I have to think of others. Not Forsakens. Yeah, Ancient Evil, Voyage of Despair, Gorok Krovi's up there, going off mainly Easter eggs. But if again, a lot of my favorite Easter eggs are kind of held back due to either the way the game is built, how good the map actually is outside of it, and then generally how much fun I have on it. But yeah, like Gorod, Voyage, Ancient Evil, I guess 9 is another good one that I like. I like 9. Looking back, I really do like it. I just always remember hating it. That being said, that's the end of this video. I know we kind of talk about zombies, I'll play multiplayer, but just generally speaking, I think Black Ops 6 Zombies is in a really good spot. I definitely think, given issues that have been happening with like all augments breaking and all of the controversy regarding this game, outside of those issues, I think the game is still very solid, one of the best COD experiences we've had in a while. I just hope that it can go off with a bang, and that way, if the next COD is bad, I don't feel bad skipping out. Because again, I'm considering skipping out after Black Ops 6, given how the community has been so vitriolic towards Black Ops 6 enjoyers and everything like that. But, that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next video or live stream I'm going to make. I'll see you guys tomorrow with Gears of War 4. And next week, on Wednesday, will actually be the finale of Gears of War 4, and then first week in June, we'll be starting up Gears of War 5. And, yeah, I'll see you guys next video or live stream. I'm going to make. Have everybody stay safe.